on this computer. There we go. All right, so to start your collage, I'm going to open up Photoshop here, like so. And again, if you want to follow along a little bit, you're welcome to follow along. You can watch along and then get started. It's up to you however you work. I'm going to create a new project here. 8 by 10 is good. Right now it's horizontal. I'm going to make sure this is vertical. So I want this vertical portrait here, so 8 inches by 10 inches. The resolution by default should be 300 pixels per inch, which is fine. And then the background color, by default it's always white. If you wanted to get creative and do something different with that, you certainly could. We're going to maybe color it later, see what is available. So I'm just going to say create. And this is going to be the foundation of my collage here. And again, remember, pinching with my 2 fingers makes it larger or smaller. I can work on certain areas. I can rotate it and all sorts of stuff. So this is the basics of my collage here. So, oops. The next thing I want to do is I want to add my portrait. That's going to be my first part. So the foundation is going to be your selfie. So again, remember on this side, I can scroll up here a little bit, and I can hit the photograph picture. My fingers are not working. There we go. I'm going to go to my photos, and I'm going to find my portrait. Hang on a second, let me find it. I didn't really have a great portrait here, but I'm going to use my, maybe I'll use this portrait. There we go. I'm going to use this portrait. So I'm going to position it here. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. I am going to, sorry, I'm going to shrink it out here. I'm going to make it bigger because I want this portrait to be maybe not quite that big, fairly large here in the corner. I'm going to rotate it just like that, and I'm going to say done. All right, so this is the portrait that I'm going to use for my piece. And the great thing about this is as you add pictures, it's going to make a new layer. So my background, I can always change the color later, and I can mess around with that, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the background here. Remember, we did this before. All right, I'm going to select subject. So hopefully it'll do a decent job, we'll see. Did not do a very decent job, shoot. So I have myself selected there, but I need to select a little bit more on the top. So I'm going to hold down here, and I'm going to try this paintbrush and see if I can get the paintbrush to work. That didn't work very well. All right, I'm going to undo that. Where is my brush size here? Yeah, my opacity is fine. And I am on there. I want pressure. Let me see if I can. There we go. So I made that brush a little smaller. I'm going to just add. I'm just painting with my finger. I know you can't see with the video here. And honestly, I'm not going to get too much of my head up here because I think I'm going to chop the top of my head off. So I sound so horrible, right? So there's my selection there. And at the bottom, I just hit the button that said mask. Maybe undo. If you remember here, I'm going to refine my edge a little bit. I'm going to try to smooth out that edge a little bit. That was a pretty nasty looking edge. I'm going to feather a little bit. I'm going to use, yeah, like I can see that edge looks terrible. It's black and white there. Let's do the overlay here. Try to get some contrast. I'm going to click on my Smart Radius button. Will help smooth it out a little bit. I'm going to shift that edge. Remember, the edge brings it in a little closer, a little bit further. Edge detection. All right, that looks a little bit better. Looks like my ear is missing over there, though. All right, I'm going to say done. And here, if I want to, again, this is where that little brush comes in. I can try to add, maybe I'll use my stylus. My finger is not so great here. All right, I'll come in and clean that up later. I don't want to spend too much time here for the demonstration, getting all that. But again, you're sort of figuring out where the edges are here. You're cleaning it up. I can change from adding to subtracting here. So right now I'm on adding. I can subtract a little bit of this here if I get this ear part over here. Like that. I'm going to be fighting this back and forth. So there we go. So then I'm going to hit mask, and I've masked out my end. And remember, if I'm over here, I prefer this look better. Over here, if I click on my layer mask, right, this is my picture, this is my layer mask. If I go to my layer mask and I use my paintbrush, and I use black, Right here I can switch my colors. I use black, size of my brush, decent size brush. Hardness of my brush is 50%. Opacity, that's a hardness. Where's my opacity? Blending mode. Here it is right here. I'm going to turn down, well, actually I'm going to leave my opacity 100%. So then I can zoom in over here a little bit, and I can clean this up. And again, I'm sort of hurrying through this for the demonstration purpose, but you can certainly, this is where you take your time so you make it look good. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a rash decision here, and I'm going to give myself a lobotomy. And I'm going to pull that right off just like that. Not a very straight line. I may have to mass it out a little bit later, try to make that straighter. But I'm going to take the top of my head off like that. All right. And then again, I'm going to worry about details and lighting and all sorts of stuff later. And coloring, I'm just going to start laying some stuff out here. So that's my first image here that I'm going to use for the foundation of my collage. All right, then I'm going to go to my sketch. Again, it's sort of in my mind here. Let's go to my picture here. And I'm going to start adding some of these pictures. So if I look at my sketch here, oops. I was thinking that I was going to lead off with the chickens coming out of my head here. So I'm going to find those chicken pictures. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to say photos. I'm going to find my darling lady chickens here. Here they are. Let's start with Frida. And I'm going to put these here in my brain here. Oops. And again, when you're sizing your pictures, be careful that when you're grabbing them, grab them by the corners like this, because it keeps your picture in proportion. If you grab your picture on the edge like this, it starts to make the pictures funky. And there's nothing worse when a professional photographer sees somebody, sees their pictures, and you see this sort of thing, right, where something is not quite right, where they've been squished. It just looks really sort of amateurish and bad, right? So make sure that you have, you're grabbing just the corners of that. And again, I'm going to say done. I'm going to use my selection tool over here. I'm going to say select subject. For whatever reason, it's not grabbing the top of the chicken or the top of anything here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to use my brush again. Zoom in a bit. Oh, I'm on minus, sorry. I'm on plus. I'm going to add the rest of little Frida in here. I'm going to say minus. Make a brush smaller. There we go. And again, you can refine the edge. This will take a little bit of time here. Edge detection. Yeah, that edge detection works pretty well. Try to smooth it out a little bit. Contrast to my edge. Okay, and that smart radius just helps to sort of keep all those colors within the same edge here. It helps out. You notice it sort of, otherwise it was looking a little fuzzy at the bottom there. That's too much. All right, that's good enough for now. So I'm going to say done. Ugh, yeah, it looks terrible up here. Am I on minus? Yeah. The problem is if your picture does not have a lot of contrast in it, like mine, you can see here, it's sort of like gray. I'm going to use this lasso here. The computer has a hard time sometimes figuring out where one color stops and another picks up. There we go. Oh, shoot. Hang on. I got to use this one down here. There we go. So I'm just drawing this by hand, trying to get a little bit closer. Oh, that's still not the right thing. Why is that not working? Let me try one more time. Select subject. Add with my brush. Actually, I'm just going to add, I'll add with my lasso. I'm going to add to the selection. Sorry, Frida. There we go. Let's add this in here. Why the heck does it keep restarting it? Oh, iPad Photoshop. All right. Good enough. All right. So again, I'm going to say mask. So I mask old Frida there. And then the secret to this one is that you are putting this thing here. So again, I have these are my selecting tool, but this is my moving tool here. I want to make sure I'm on my picture of Frida and I can move her around. But I want to move this layer below. So it's all about stacking, right? And then meeting your edges. So I can see here where she's right there. I'm going to have her meet that edge right there. Now you can also see the importance of the resolution of your pictures. This picture here I have, oops. You can see that it's a slightly different resolution, because this picture I took of my self-portrait was with a different camera and it was a little bit darker, so I can even see my eye. Oh, come on. Man, this Photoshop is driving me crazy. There we go. Ugh. Sorry, gang. I'm gonna put her behind there. But I can see, in my eye, you can see how it's sort of pixelated and looks a little bit worse. But then when I zoom in on Frida, she's super crisp and clear. And again, that's just because the quality of those two photographs that were taken are different. All right. So I'm gonna put her here. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go back to my pictures again. I'm going to grab another chicken head. Maybe, there we go. Say maybe she's better. And again, do the best you can with this Photoshop. As you can see, I'm even struggling with this a little bit. All right, she's going to have to be in the front because she's got the right face for it here. Done. You know, again, I'm trying to scale these chicken heads all about the same size. So this is how you're going to start, is I would say just go ahead and start by putting in the pictures where you think they belong. And then we can start talking a little bit about composition and where things truly might fit in. Let's do that. And I'm going to do the minus. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these tools are bizarre on Photoshop here. I don't know what the deal is. Let's see if this will work up here. Yeah, that didn't really do a whole lot. I'm going to add up here at the top. There we go. I'm going to use minus here. There you go, Winnie. That looks a little better. Like so. All right, then I'm going to layer mask this one. Again, you can refine the edges a little bit. I'm just going to sort of hurry through this a little bit here. Let's grab old Winnie. I'm going to put her here. I'm going to put Frida below her. Like so. There we go. And I'm going to move Frida here, and I'm going to put Winnie over there. Perfect. All right, so there. Ah, darn it. Keep grabbing that stupid thing. There we go. Just grab your back layer to move this around, or else you're going to move your layers. So you can see I'm just starting to build out those chickens on my head like so. So that's what we're going to do is you start going through your pieces, find your works. And again, if you're thinking about background, like eventually I might get to something like, let's see, if I want to use a drum set or something like that, I might do something like this. But maybe this might just become part of the background back here. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out here, like so. All right.